Welcome back to Doing Life Radio. I'm Sam.
And I'm Joyce. We're a married couple living in South Jersey, talking about all things life with a special focus on food, fitness, and faith.
And today we're talking about the seasonal topic, graduations.
Yeah, it is that time of year, and it seems to be all the buzz. Everyone's talking about their child graduating, so we thought, why don't we talk about graduation?
How old they are, what class it is, they're graduating.
Everyone's graduating from something.
Moving up ceremonies, stepping up ceremonies, graduation ceremonies, caps and gowns, flowers, balloons, air horns.
Yeah, so if you're wondering if we have an opinion about it, we have
You're
an
about
opinion.
to find out. Hey, like and share us. We are on iTunes, Podomatic, YouTube. Please, please, please like and share and comment. Let us know what you like, what you want us to talk about, maybe your own personal thoughts on graduation. Perhaps you have something to say against our wonderful bliss of graduation.
What?
I have no idea. I got off track there.
Okay.
All right, so our big baby boy had a step-up program the other night.
Yeah, I do appreciate that they didn't call it a graduation.
Correct.
I think the graduations are out of control.
There are a lot of different graduations apparently nowadays.
You graduate from preschool, and then you graduate from kindergarten and from 5th grade. And
yeah, and depending on school, it's 6th grade, and then you graduate from 8th grade.
And some of these schools are even doing caps and gowns, and it's...
Oh, yeah, the whole shebang and everything.
It's like, ridiculous.
That's bizarre. I wonder if they're like putting the cost onto the parents. Like, now, let's agree.
Oh, no, they're probably just wearing them and returning them to the school, and then the next group wears them the next year.
How do you wash those caps?
I don't know.
Someone is sharing their head nasty with the next generation.
It's possible.
It just keeps going down and down and down. But I think we both can agree when it comes to like the graduations and stuff, like little 4-year-olds dressed up in a cap and gown.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's cute.
Yeah, it's super cute.
Photo op, photo op opportunity. Am I redundant? Is that a redundant phrase?
Yeah.
All right. The photo op opportunity for your little kid in this little cap and gown is...
Yeah. But it's exciting. This time of year is exciting. The kids are coming home from school, whether they're graduating or not. You know, it's a different time of year in the summer. Things tend to slow down a little bit, which I can appreciate a lot. I like having the kids home for summer. I know some parents kind of dread it, and maybe because of work schedules, it gets to be difficult. But I love when they're home for the summer.
Yeah, I feel like I get less done when they're home.
For sure, we get less done.
I feel like even though we spend more time with them and we are very intentional about spending a lot of family time together, I feel like a worse parent during the summer than I do during the school year.
Because they probably spend more time playing video games and such.
They spend a lot more time on video games. So like when we're not out doing things, we have to get things done.
Right.
And they're older now, so they can be home alone for hours.
Short time,
you know, that's so like if I need to go get something done, the easiest way to know they're being safe at home, put them on screen.
Yeah.
You know, for the whole World Wide Web to have at them on that end of things.
No, they play video games. They're not online.
On the internet. They're online playing video games.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But they're online playing video games with their other church friends and most of the friends that we know.
Yeah.
Come down, we hear all the voices. It's pretty controlled.
Yeah. But anyway, it's an exciting time of the year nonetheless. There's the boardwalk, there's the beach, there's whatever summer activities, you like to do. But I think high school graduation is probably the most exciting graduation of any graduation.
Highlight a graduation. It's got to be a high school graduation.
Yeah. Better than college, better than getting your master's, better than stepping up into high school. Your actual high school graduation, I think, is the most celebratory of all.
Well, you graduated college with an associate's, right? I graduated with a bachelor's. Neither one of us.
Is this supposed to be a competition?
No.
What are you?
I'm just trying to get down the road because I think some people like a college graduation is like a big deal, especially.
Well, it is a big deal.
I think it's bigger than high school.
No, I don't think it's bigger than high school because when you graduate high school, you're still a child and you are expected to make serious decisions, super duper duper expensive decisions. Like where are you going to go to college? What are you going to study? And you don't know at 17, 18 years old what you want to do down the road. I mean, some people do.
Very few do, right?
But I think it's a lot. When you graduate college, you know what you want to do. You've been preparing for it for the past 4 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think graduating high school, you go from being a child to being an adult like that, and I think it's tricky.
Okay, I think we're looking at it two different perspectives. I think the accomplishment of graduating college is more significant than the accomplishment of graduating high school. I think what
Yeah,
you're looking at
but not to
is
say if you don't go to college, you're not
no, no, no,
accomplished.
no, no, not at all, not at all. I mean, that's definitely not where I'm at. Um, but to put in that time and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that's honorable. And then the master's degree and so on and so forth like that. Like these are things we can't attest to. Like I don't know what it's like for someone's going back to school to get their master's degree and what that sense of accomplishment is to have a family, have a job, and then your master's degree. Like someone who does that, like I can't. That's got to
Yeah,
be
I
something
guess
uber.
as far as it being an accomplishment, the
Right.
college one would be more significant. But as far as like a
A
major
life step
life,
goal like that's a
yeah, I
yeah
think
that I
high
can see
school is
that.
where it's at.
I can definitely see that. I did some research, believe it or not, on
Really?
this topic
Wow.
because we're talking about like I think the problem is when we're talking about graduation, like we were talking with a friend the other day. He was like, "Yeah, I got to go to another one of my daughter's graduation." He goes, "I feel like I just went to one last year," and he's got two young daughters.
Yeah.
They're
Little ones. So
graduating from
it was
preschool.
pretty
They're
funny.
graduating from kindergarten. Like they're literally
And I
doing these
understand
things.
because they do it in the middle of the workday, and
Oh,
I
that's
mean, it's cute, but
that's
it's
cute.
also like, oh
That's a
my
lot.
gosh,
No, that's a
yeah.
lot. And but they're making these big deals about this graduation process. And
Yeah.
I didn't graduate from fifth to junior high.
I didn't have a single graduation until high school.
I did have an eighth grade. I don't know if they called it a graduation, but I do remember my eighth
Like a
grade
step
graduation.
up or
I probably
whatever.
remember my eighth grade more than my high school one. I think just because it was a smaller setting, it was like more. My eighth grade graduation class had 36, 32 kids in it.
That's ridiculous.
From there, we then went on to a high school that's bigger than what our kids are doing here in Millville. I probably had 600, 700 in my graduating class. Like it was
That's more like it.
huge. But it was somewhere in that ballpark. So it's, I went from small to big. So maybe that's why I remember it because the high school one and most seniors, you don't remember the speech that they gave.
Yeah.
You don't remember any special thing. You're just
Unless
like,
maybe you're the speaker, then that's kind of
unless
a
you're
big
the
deal.
speaker, then
Oh, but I hear they're kind of getting rid of that. Do you
the
know that? The
valedictorian thing, yeah,
valedictorian
town
thing
next
is
door,
going bye-bye.
which is another weak sauce moment. So,
Yeah, I see both sides. At first, I totally rolled my eyes. I'm like, this is absurd. Why does everyone have to have a trophy? Let the best student be the valedictorian. I don't understand what the problem is. And I do kind of feel that way, but I do understand the other point. And it's not necessarily that all the kids have to get a trophy so much as they want the kids who are really excelling to not be discouraged to take super advanced classes so that they don't risk their
right.
GPA. I guess I get that.
I,
That makes sense, but I mean, is it really that big of a deal if
Right.
you're not valedictorian? Somebody's got to be top of the class. Why not honor that person?
exactly. You should honor them. And what's the worst case scenario if you shoot for valedictorian and you miss? You're still in the top
you're
2,
still
3
doing
percentile of the
amazing.
school.
Yeah.
You're still totally crushing it.
And to change a whole, lifetime of tradition for a small, 5% of people who might have their feelings hurt or might not take a class because it's,
There are
you know,
so many areas in life we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Like it's just changing everything because a few, squeaky
few people
wheels.
might get their feelings hurt, but
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, I was so far out of the realm of ever being considered valedictorian, not even close. I wasn't an honor student. I was not a fantastic student. So maybe that's why I'm like, oh, who cares? Just give it to the one who was the best. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, you weren't even close to that.
Please.
Not saying that I was in my graduating class, my high school graduate. We had 4 students get perfect scores on their SATs.
Amazing.
Like that's just ridiculous that that's even like a thought process. But I just getting back to celebrating graduations, like there is an accomplishment, and you do want to celebrate like when things get done, especially if your child did well and they tried their best and they got through the year and they're moving on to the next year. Yeah, that's a great thing, and to be applauded and celebrated, and and really enjoy that moment. And if your kid happens to come home with an award or something like that, well, that's pretty cool too. Like you want to
Yeah.
get get on top of that and enjoy that.
I do think it's amazing that our kids are such excellent students. Our kids are straight A students.
Oh,
And they have to get that from you because I was a terrible student.
Yeah, school for me was super easy, but even like watching our boys, like the way they do work,
They just breeze through
they're
it.
on a completely different level. So
Yeah.
whatever is in our chemical makeup when it got together,
Yeah.
it worked out. We should have made more babies.
We
for
should
the
have made a
world.
lot more babies.
We could have definitely influenced.
I wanted to
the
make
world.
more babies.
Well, that's another podcast. We can go down. I like the two we have. They're all right.
We'll keep them
How many
anyway.
times can you strike gold, and can lightning strike? Bob. So graduation, like the senior high graduation, just happened recently, and all over the place. It's this past week. The weather was crazy, so they're changing times
Yeah.
left and right. But high school graduation, believe it or not, it's now more recently is like kind of commonplace. Like it's really not that, statistically speaking, we're talking over 90% of students who enter high school are graduating.
I would hope
high
so.
school. Right, but that hasn't always been the case.
Really?
So go back to over 100 years ago. We're going to the early 1900s.
Okay.
And this is why I wanted to kind of look at some of the statistics of this thing and see how it became, like back in the day, this used to be a really big deal if you made it all the way through to high school. So in the early 1900s, and we'll take this kind of by decades, you look at the, let's just say 1900, 6% of students, 6% of high school eligible students, only 6% of them were graduating.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great. I mean, you figure where we're at, it's a completely different culture and stuff like that, and work and survival.
Well, and for the
is
most
still a
part,
big thing.
it's very, I don't know, not socially acceptable to not go to high school. I mean, that's
Right now, we're in a completely different time.
right. Where then it may have been like totally
you-
socially acceptable to get a job instead of go to
Move
high
up
school.
to the 1920s, and that number jumped up to 17%.
Okay.
So it's kind of a slow increase. And then you look from like the 1930s into the even into the or let's say the early 1950s, that number was anywhere from 50 to 59%. Still, only half the students
Wow.
in the 1950s are graduating high school or completing
But
through.
they're probably working. They're probably
Correct.
not
That's what I'm saying.
like
There's-
hung in their parents' basement smoking pot and playing video games. Like they probably are
That's what I'm
legit
saying.
working
like, we're
hard.
in a very different society now. Like you had
Yeah.
to work to kind of be a part. As soon as you were able to, like you
Right,
could
they're
work,
probably helping to support their
could
families.
work at a younger age. Right, there's a lot more factory work and stuff like that they can get involved in and go in there. The number really doesn't start to jump till we start to get into the mid 1960s and the 70s and all that stuff. Where then it starts to slowly go from 60-70% to where it is now, like in the 90s, where it's almost a given. And
Yeah,
then
now it's really almost unheard of to not, graduate high
right.
school.
Like we are probably like the generation before us, our parents,
Okay.
more than likely graduated high school.
Yeah.
The generation before them, more than likely,
Maybe not.
did not.
Yeah.
Right. And
Like
if
our
you graduated high
grandparents,
school, you were going,
great-great-grandparents.
you were on a quote unquote an academic path. Like high school might have been viewed more along the lines like college
How
is
we
now.
see college,
Right.
yeah.
So it was just completely different. So now it's kind of like, all right, yeah, you graduated high school. Well, so did 99% of everyone else.
Oh,
It's
but
kinda
it's
that-
it's still exciting.
It's a great thing.
But yeah, I see
can't
what
even
you're
remember.
saying.
Do you remember your high school graduation at all?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, I remember graduation, and then we went to project graduation. Did you have
yeah.
project graduation in high school?
Yeah, we had it. I can't remember. I don't remember much about it at all because all the other events I had in high school kind of all
Yeah.
blend together. So I have no idea what we did. I really don't. I remember we had black, was our black cap and gown, and there were a couple people that were decorating their caps. I thought that's a pretty neat thing. I wish I would have known about that ahead of time.
Yeah. There was no Pinterest when we were in high school, so we had nothing to help us out.
So if your mom didn't do it, then
That was it.
and you didn't do it. That I don't really like. Nothing sticks out about my graduation. Even my college graduation. I'm trying to think through that. If anything jumped out of that, I remember we were like one of the first classes to graduate in the brand new building there
Right.
at Lancaster, and I remember almost nothing about it. I don't remember a sense of pride, like I got this done. It was
Wow,
very,
that's
yeah, like
a
there's nothing
shame.
about it that jumps out to me except for I probably remember the practice more than I do the actual ceremony itself. And I have no idea why. I mean, I remember my parents were there, you were there. Like it was a significant,
Yeah.
time. But
I don't remember your graduation either, if
yeah,
it
see,
helps.
exactly. There's nothing. There's so we put so much into these things and the ceremonies and stuff like
Yeah.
that almost no one takes anything away from. Like I don't know how you fix that or change that. But grandparents, talk to a grandparent about watching their grandbaby walk across the stage. Like there's
Yeah,
just
they
a sense
love
of
it. And
pride and
parents, I can't wait to watch our kids and cheer them on.
well,
But
almost cheer them on.
oh my goodness. So I don't know if this is a
This is
thing for high school, but for our
It is. I actually had a conversation with someone today who was talking about how the one they went to like last year was so bad, so
but I mean,
miserable.
is it the same rules where they don't want you to clap?
Same rules.
Okay. So we went to our son's 8th grade step up
Step
ceremony,
up.
and it's a big school. There's a ton of kids. And the principal very diplomatically asked that you please hold your applause till the end of the class. It wasn't even till every single student,
No,
but
you're
till
waiting
like
for
there's
20
like maybe
students.
25, 30 students.
Maybe. Yep.
And then give your applause, or else, he basically said, we'll be here all night. Like, we're trying to keep this under an hour.
Be respectful so
And
that we can hear the next student's name. That was
exactly.
really the
Right.
point of emphasis. We want everyone to be able to hear
Right.
their name.
Now, again, this is only an 8th grade step up. It's not the end of the world, but these parents are ridiculous.
And rude.
So rude.
Rude.
So some kids would go on, they would call their name and they'd walk across, and then every once in a while they'd call a kid's name, and
So hoot and holler,
ridiculous, out
yelling,
of control,
screaming,
so
nicknames.
disrespectful. And I'm thinking, if you see your parent acting like this after the principal just distinctly asked them not to,
Multiple times. And he would say, look, out of respect for the whole group, like it wasn't
he
like
had to stop several times to tell the parents to stop.
and I love the tactic he used, which is a tactic that the only tactic you have.
You have to.
We'd like to please thank everyone for not making a loud shenanigans while
Right,
their
that's
student is coming
not
across.
at all what he said, but that's the gist of
Right.
it.
He would lead into, we'd like to please thank you for,
Right.
like, knowing full well that most of the parents weren't. And then on top of that, just people, just generally, just talking. Just having
Yeah,
full
just
blown,
chit chatting. If it wasn't
like,
their
full
kid, their
voice
kid already went. They
conversation.
couldn't care less that
Yeah,
anyone
it
else's
just-
kid hasn't. And
and this wasn't a long program. And I don't know how
No,
many,
it was about
how
an
many
hour.
students was it?
I don't know, a lot,
It was
hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah, hundreds.
Yeah,
And they got done within 15 minutes. They were in and out like
50.
50.
I thought you
50.
said 15.
I said 50.
Yeah, yeah. But it was just so rude. And I understand when you hear your child's name, you want to clap for them. Okay, I
Yeah, we
get
wanted
it.
to clap.
But you're just teaching your child that if you don't like the rules, just totally disregard them. Just do whatever you want. And I didn't care for that. It
Now-
actually made me say, why is my kid in this school? Why am I raising my kid around these people? Because that's how
It
disrespectful I
was
felt like they were.
incredibly. And typically, most of the events that we go to have some of that element to it.
Yeah.
There's just a lack of decorum
Yeah.
and respect
That's the
for
word.
people
There is
around them.
absolutely no decorum left,
Right.
I feel like, for
Yeah.
people.
No, that's true. And I think that's
And
in most
obviously
places.
not all people. And I would say the majority of people were respectful, but
That
the
is
few
correct.
that aren't are so distracting.
It's so extreme. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, it's not like, it's not like your kid walks around like
No,
I can't
screaming ridiculous.
organized cheers.
Yeah.
And then just loud. And on the flip side, yeah, if that's your one moment to celebrate your child and you want them to know that you are there and you respect, I can kind of get that. But
But they asked you not to.
exactly, there's that whole big
Yeah.
kind of thing. And you had your opportunity to, when everyone's clapping, to make your voice known, you know what I mean? Because when there's only 25 students up there, 25 students, everyone's doing the polite. If your kid's not up there, you're just polite
Yeah.
clapping. And then, if you want to go nuts, then
That would be the time
that would
after
be
the whole
time.
class
There's
is
plenty
read.
of
Yeah.
opportunity to go nuts. On
I
that.
feel like, and this is maybe not true or not nice, I don't know. I feel like when parents act ridiculous like that at graduations or games or whatever, where they're really cheering, like, that's my kid, blah, blah, blah. I feel like they are compensating for something. Like, maybe you're not around so much as a parent, so you've got to really let everyone know you're at graduation. Or, I don't know. I feel like I don't need to act that way because my child knows that I'm here. I don't need to announce it. I
Right.
don't care if everyone else knows I'm there or not because I'm only there to please my child,
Right.
not the parents beside me. So, no, I don't need to act that way. It's no,
Yeah, I get that a little bit. I mean, some people are just loud by nature, so
Well, that's
there's
true. And
that
I
end.
am extremely not loud by
Right.
nature and I get a little irritated sometimes. So, that's
So
true.
there's that flip side, but also for us, we try to be very intimate and like match the quality of our son too. Like he is a little bit more
He would have
quiet,
been
a
embarrassed
little
if
bit more
we acted
reserved,
like that. Yeah.
right? So we afterwards, we sit down and say, "Look, buddy, you need to know that we are so
Right.
proud of you." You know what I mean? We make it more of an intimate moment in the
Yeah.
conversation
And
like
that's
that.
true. Maybe that's just my love language is I'd rather have a quiet, intimate moment than a loud one in front of
Right.
people. So maybe that,
There are some
yeah,
students
maybe that wasn't fair. May
who
I agree
walked
with that.
across the stage who didn't hear it and were sad that they didn't hear it, not even because
You think so?
they didn't have a comprehension. I think if they didn't hear it, they would have been sad. Like the ones that received the loud seemed like they knew it was coming. Most of them.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? That
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you should do is honor the decorum, honor
right,
the standards that are set there, take advantage of the opportunity that was clearly presented to
right.
you at the time. And I think that's the thing that really struck me is I'm thinking, we're going to sit through 400 names and we're not going to be able to clap at all? Like, this is bizarre. And then after the first 20, you start to establish, okay, there's a routine here. There
Right.
is going to be a time to
After
cheer.
every homeroom got announced, then you
And I know a
cheer.
lot of people are listening to this and thinking about me, think, oh, you're probably one of the loud ones and stuff like that. No, I'm not. I will embarrass my son in front of his friends when
For
they
sure.
know who I am and what my personality type is. Because
But not in a situation where you're asked not to.
definitely not.
Yeah.
No, no.
Now, high school, that's a little different. I mean, I feel like you should clap for them in high school, but they don't let you do that, huh?
I apparently there's a moment to be quiet, reserved, and wait.
Okay.
Same as everything. And now it might not have been a high school graduation. It might have been like an awards assembly or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that. But the same kind of thing. Please wait. They don't wait. They're talking during
Gotcha.
the whole thing. Uh, so yeah, I mean, high school. I can see high school. You want to kind of go nuts, but I did see the local school, Millville. They're saying look, no balloons, no air horns,
Oh,
no
well,
this,
air
no
horns,
that.
they're the worst.
Oh,
Somebody
so
blew one of
bad.
those things right in my ear the other night. I was
They were
furious.
walking out. It literally was 4 or 5 feet away from your
I
head. It just blowing it
literally
out
felt
there.
like my eardrum blew up inside my head. It was so
But
rude.
don't
Those
worry.
things should not be sold.
Yeah, I took care of it. I knocked the guy out, took the air horn, and shoved it
I
up
didn't
his
even
nostrils.
think you knew it happened. You did nothing.
I stared with a glare. Like,
Okay.
had I not had my
Thank you.
sunglasses on, that guy would
He
have
would have
been
known,
really
huh?
offended.
Wow.
And he would have known that he had to be farther
Thanks
away
for
next
having
time he
my
blows his
back,
air.
babe. All right. So, what happens after graduation? You get a job, you go to college, you go to trade school. Those are pretty much your choices,
Oh,
right? You
hey.
get married.
After high school graduation?
Lots of people do. Well, not
We're
lots, but
not.
people do.
That's like Midwest. That's like Amish kids.
People get married right out of high school.
There are a few. That's few and far
Yeah,
between.
I have
though.
some people who I went to high school with, and they were dating in high school, and they're married now.
Married now. When did they get married?
Well, I'm sure not immediately after high school, but I'm saying their high school sweetheart is who they married.
Yeah, that's so few and far between. That is a
Yeah,
sweet story.
but I can name a couple, which is strange, I guess.
I can name none.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
can't
really
think
know
of any.
people that you went to school with.
No, I don't. Yeah, they might have gotten together later. I really have no idea. But yeah, you graduate high school and it's like for like maybe a week, it's like party central. Like, yes, I'm done, no school, da da. And then things start to
Then you have to figure out.
Start to catch
Well, I
up.
guess you figure out before you graduate what you're going to do as
A
far
lot
as
of 'em.
college or schooling goes. I, of course, am a huge advocate of trade schools.
yes.
I
I'm
did
a
both.
big fan of it too.
I did college and I did a trade school. And I make my money because I went to a trade school.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
How's that associate's degree working out for
Well,
you?
I met you in college, so it's working out wonderful.
What? It's the best. That's a great answer. And it's recorded, so we have that going
It
on
has
there.
to be true.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
so
talking
I
about.
went away to college for a year after high school because I thought that's what you were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And as I already mentioned, I'm a terrible student. I did not do well at all. So much so that my parents contacted me and suggested that maybe cosmetology school would be a better option for me.
That's great. Do your parents put that in your head?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you have any inkling before that?
No.
Nothing.
Everyone
at all?
asks me that. Like, did you used to do your Barbie's hair? And did you do all your friends for
you
prom?
grow up,
And I was like, no, I did really bad my first year in college. My parents thought I should go to cosmetology school.
I would love to sit down and find out.
But joke's on them. It was awesome. I loved it. That was the first time when I was in school.
Take that, parents. I'm a success because you pushed me to
huge
school.
Success.
In your face.
Yeah, no, that was the first time I went to school. And I thought this is just a year to like, all right, let me just do this to take a year and like figure myself out. Like, who am I? Because I think everyone after high school goes through that. Like, who am I? Like, what am I going to do with my
your
life?
personality changed after high school. Those years, you grow up so much over the next 3 to 4 years. And I'm a big proponent. Like, I want it for my kids too. I want them to leave. I want them to go away to school.
And I did. That was another reason, as I wanted to go away, but then I had to come back.
Tail between your legs.
First year didn't go so hot. And yeah, when I went to cosmetology school, I was finally like, oh, I love this. I was top of my class. I was getting hundreds on tests, and like that wasn't me. And it was great, and then I did get into working, but then I was torn. Like, I kind of wanted to go back to school. My parents definitely wanted me to go back to school. I don't think they expected me to just
actually
go
work.
and then work.
They've probably thought to themselves, let's give Joyce a taste of working with her hands. She is going to hate it. So next time she goes to school, she will figure out what she'll wants
get
to
good
do.
grades. Yeah.
That was probably their tactic.
Yeah.
That's probably the right.
As a matter of fact, I got bribed to go back to college. Remember, my dad was going to pay my car payments.
I remember that.
Yeah, he bribed me into going back to school. He picked the school. He did it all. I was just like, all right, you're going to pay for my car. So, yeah.
I wonder why. We have to have that conversation.
Then
Sit
I
down
met
with
you.
them. Like, why Lancaster? Like, because there was a closer Bible college that you could have gone to.
Well, my sister went to Philadelphia College of the Bible.
Right. That's the thing. Like, that just adds to the mystery. Like, why wouldn't he just send you there?
I don't know. There was a reason.
They must have messed her up.
You know what? Lancaster, well, she only went there for a year, and it was all, good things. She just wanted to go a different direction that they weren't offering. Lancaster offered like a 1-year certificate.
Gotcha.
And that's what he was trying to get me to do.
Okay.
Is at least go back for 1 year, get this like certificate that they offered. I don't know. Luckily, I stayed another semester and got an actual degree that I don't use or need. But it's better than a certificate.
Right. It actually looks like a certificate in the thing that's got different letters on it.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think I have it anymore.
It's got to be around somewhere.
I don't save anything. I literally save nothing. I doubt I have my diploma.
It's a diploma. You got to have it.
Yeah, maybe.
I have mine somewhere.
I'm sure they have it on file at the school if I ever need it.
You hopefully think.
Yeah.
So he sent you there. He bribed you. Why do you think his real purpose of sending you there was? Like, we joke about all the time, was to find a guy. Like, he wanted you to find a good guy.
Don't think it was out of the realm of possibility that he was hoping I would find a good Christian man. And I think that, parents want you to be your best self. So I think they were just trying to push me to, like, okay, you like this and that's great, but maybe you like something else too. Like, You're
young enough and moldable enough that they wanted to
and they were flipping the bill. So there was no reason for me to not go. As a matter of fact, even though I'm working as a hairstylist and I, did that in a trade school, if I could go back and do it again, I would have finished to have my bachelor's.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't need it, but I would like to say that I had it. But now that I'm married with 2 kids and work full time, like, I don't want to go to school now. I'm definitely not going now. But no, if I could go back,
but now you have two
while my
boys at home
parents
that can help
were
you do your homework.
paying for it, I would have definitely wish I had finished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you got.
But I don't regret what I'm doing, and I would probably still be doing exactly what I'm doing now.
Right. Yeah. So we're big proponents of trade school. Yeah. I know they used to have they had CC Tech, and we have like a full.
Yeah, we have a high school tech
trade school that has like 1,000 different options.
And you couldn't do it in high school when I was. Oh, well, I guess you could do it like half part time.
Right. Like now they have
now
committed.
It's a
the whole high school.
Yeah.
Your 4 years is committed to the whole process. It used to be you could go to trade school in conjunction, like with regular high school, and it'd be like you could learn to be an electrician or a
Yeah.
carpenter. You can learn those basic skills. Now it's like expanded. It's like you could be a pre-nurse or whatever that's called, and all that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah, like a medical assistant or something like that.
So it's not quite just trade school, but I'm all like our kids. I'm huge. I was like, look, if you love working with your hands and stuff like that,
Yeah.
let's go down that route. Now they happen to be incredibly smart, book smart, and things like that.
They're academic, our
they're
kids.
very
Yeah.
academic.
So they'll probably go to college, but
Yeah, so you graduate high school.
I wouldn't be
that's
disappointed if they decided to go to trade school. I
Not
would be
in-
like, as
not in
long
the slightest.
you have to just do what you love
if they didn't even go to like you can go into these trades. I think that's what people miss out.
and just
You
be an
can-
apprentice.
You can be an apprentice, and then there's definitely schooling and basically it's like licensing and certificates you earn you earn along the way to help you move up the chain. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to go to a formal school to get a job with someone and learn the process. In fact, you will learn more on the job than you will in school. That's everyone will tell you that. Like it doesn't matter what you did in college, high school. Once you get into the field and you start actually using it,
Yeah.
that's when things really start to change. So, like I've seen, we have a friend who didn't go to school to be an electrician, but now he's like, he's able to move and do all kinds of things because he took time just to
He
to
was an
learn.
apprentice.
He wanted to learn.
Yeah.
If you have a work ethic, you'll get pretty far in life.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the big deal. I mean, you have to have a work ethic to go to college and succeed there, and to get a job and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's a scary time graduating high school. I think it's because there's
Yeah.
so many, like when I graduated high school, I did not know what I was going to do. I didn't know where.
Oh,
was
I
gonna
didn't
go.
know either. I just
Yeah.
went away to college because that's what you did. You went away to college.
Yeah, I actually found a softer spot. I gave myself a year. There was like Word of Life Bible Institute, and it had a 1-year Bible program. And I thought, you know what? For 1 year, I can do that, and that'll help me figure out
Like
what.
a 1-year certificate.
It was like a 1-year Bible certificate. And I figured for 1 year, I'll do that and figure out what I want to do with my life. And I
Yeah.
had friends that were going. So it was just an easy choice to try to get that whole process figured out. I mean, I was one of the last ones to register for the year, the whole shebang. It was just not well planned on my part.
Yeah.
But it did. It gave me a year to kind of reset. Even then, when I went the next step into college, I ended up at Lancaster Bible College. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I started out being like a computer science and education. I had like a month in a computer class. And I'm like, nope,
Yeah.
not for me. And then same thing in the education, like to become a teacher and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Like I can't do this. Like this is not for me. And then I fell into counseling, and I guess it's still not for me.
I started as a theater major.
Oh, well, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yes, you
Yep,
did.
theater. And then I talked about switching to psych, but I don't know that we actually changed it. I think we just discussed it. And then I ended up getting it
That's
in
why your
counseling.
dad wanted to send you to a Christian school.
Yeah.
That theater world can be scary sometimes. It's like,
It was
if you're sending
interesting.
your
It
little
was
baby
interesting.
out into that. That's great. We used to do a lot of that stuff in high school.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing too. When you graduate high school, the things you used to do and love that now are not as readily available there. So
Yeah.
like you used to do dramas and stuff like that and get involved in the plays, and graduate high school, no, they're not putting plays together for
Well,
you.
they were in college, but I didn't enjoy it in college like I did in high school. It's
Right.
a whole different vibe. It was just,
That's exactly it.
yeah,
It's
I
very,
didn't
very
jive
different.
with them.
And the level is different. Like everything's different. Like if you played in bands, this is the thing. Like our boys play in band, and they love their instruments. I think they're very talented at it. Right now, they love their instruments.
Yeah.
When they graduate high school, what's next? Like,
Well, they're going to play those instruments because they were expensive. And so are the teachers.
we have friends and family coming over for Christmas. Mommy would very much love it if you would bring out your trombone and play for us. Perhaps that bass line from that one really cool jazz song you played.
At least the guitar and piano, they've got to stick with
yeah,
those because those are
those.
the teachers we're paying.
Well, those are the lifelong ones, and those are the ones that are going to help get them married.
Oh, because they're
Because
going to.
a guy and a guitar,
Gotcha.
there's nothing. Yeah, I used to be so jealous of those guys. We go to camps, and then we're hanging out with the girls, hey, and the guy breaks out the guitar. You're like, no, I'm done. I got nothing.
Yeah.
I can spin a basketball. Look, girls, I can spin a basketball. And he's over there like, I'm like, oh. done. We can't compete with that.
Yeah.
Then even now, like we go to the camp, there's a piano sitting out, we'll bring her.
Yeah.
And some kid will step up there and start playing songs. You're like, man, that kid's cool.
And then everyone gathers around the piano player.
Oh my goodness. No, those are skills that they're going to use because they will get them far in life. Like, everyone loves the piano player.
They have to stick with the piano and the guitar. If they drop the
horns,
band instruments, that would be sad because those were insanely expensive.
And they're crazy good at it.
They're very good at it.
So, I mean, there's always a chance down the road for them to be able to do something with that. Just got to find the right niche. So, yeah, you
people
graduate.
Are in bands.
Yeah, people. Oh, speaking like do you remember ska bands?
Yeah, I sang in a ska band.
No.
Yes.
What?
I'll tell you all about it when we're not recording.
Oh, what? So, I'm going to stop recording right now. This is need to know information. I'm sure everyone's trying to figure out what's going on. So if you don't know what ska, just look it up. SKA. It's lots of horns. It's kind of jazzy, but it's not really jazz.
Super cool.
It's super cool in the mid 90s. So
it was the mid 90s.
Well,
it was the late 90s.
But that gave like horn players, like brass instrument horn players, like a future. Like, yeah, I could be in a cool. I can be in a cool band.
I was
when I get older.
I was in a cool band.
Did you wear checkered patterns and bright colors? Like that's all what it was. No, you weren't that kind of ska cool. That's crazy. Oh my god.
No, I really just went to a couple little gigs with them. I wasn't really their person. I just sang a couple songs with them here or there, but it was so fun.
Yeah, that stuff is crazy. It's crazy fun music. It's like swing music, jazz music, pop music.
That was the summer between my first college year and cosmetology school. Me and some girlfriends rented a place in Wildwood. We waited tables. We made a ton of money, and I occasionally sang in a ska band. It was a great summer.
I moonlighted in ska. This is so great. I'm flabbergasted right now. I feel like I should have known this. It might come back to me later that I knew this information.
I think you may have.
I probably did. And I'm probably just so thrown off right now because I'm trying to think of my kids' future, and you've already lived their future. Okay. Now they're not going to sing in the band. They're going to be the trombone player, the baritone player.
Back to graduation.
Back to graduation. So, yes, congratulations. You finished a grade. No, you don't need to walk around with a cap and gown unless it's 12th grade.
Unless it's high school.
Right, 12th grade, and you're able to get done. Or college, and you got that accomplished. Listen, you can walk. If you get your associate's degree, cap and gown it. You earned it.
That's it.
Bachelor, cap and gown it. You earned it. Master's, that's a whole nother breed of people, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's
and
doctor.
Trade school, cap and gown it. You earned it.
Some schools are doing this thing now. You know how like they have the big ceremony, like when like you're signing, when you like for students that are going to a school, like schools that are like hard to get in, they'll have like a big, you got into whatever, and so they celebrate it. Some schools are now also celebrating those that are going into trades or going into trade school. Like they get a job with a trade or the company, and they're actually celebrating that. And I know Mike Rowe, the guy who voices a lot of programs on Discovery Channel. Mike Rowe
is he the Dirty Jobs guy?
Yes. Woo! Yeah,
anyways, everybody knows
he's
that.
He's a big proponent of this, like skills and stuff like that. And if you look statistically speaking, I forget what the numbers are, but you can, like, if you go on to be a doctor, you have the debt that you're going to accrue, and the years it's going to take to compensate for that. But if you go into being like, like an electrician or a plumber or something like that, jobs that will always be there.
Well, doctors will always have jobs.
Yeah. But they're predicting there's going to be a significant shortage in these primary fields,
right? Because
in the next
we're pushing college so much that
exactly, and just the way this generation is being raised up, they're staring at the screen. Like our kids, a lot of kids that I've talked to now,
they want computer jobs.
They want to be in computers. They want to create video games. They want to do like this is a genuine thing they want to go down. So they're not looking at these other avenues. I'm blessed in life that my dad, I was able to watch. My dad was one of those jack of all trades growing up. I was able to watch over his shoulder, learn by doing that, and now I can do a lot of things around the house myself. We don't have to pay the crazy price to bring in these skilled people.
Yeah, but hey, if there's only a few people doing it, they can name their price, so good for them.
And that is exactly it. That's exactly it. All right, so graduation.
Yeah.
Congratulations to those who
congratulations, and to the mommies and daddies who are now empty nesters. Congratulations. You did it.
Yay! I know there's a lot of dads out there that are like fist pumping, yes, and a lot of moms that are
They're
very
a little
heartbroken.
weepy. Yeah, I
Yes.
actually have a good girlfriend who's a little weepy lately about her son graduating, but
It's such a.
you'll be all right.
Get over it already.
No, I can't even imagine. I can't even
Listen,
imagine my child leaving my house.
just the idea of us going away for a couple of nights without the kids coming with us gives you anxiety. So I,
I don't
can't imagine.
I
when
don't
go,
enjoy it. I want to be with my kids.
I want my babies.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I know they're well taken care of even when I'm not around.
I want my kids.
Happy graduation.
Congratulations.